The first one I want to touch on is a labor hours analysis. This is kind of a very simple one, but something that's really powerful just to have right at your field's fingertips to kind of see where are they tracking on a project. I think this is something, probably most contractors are doing is sending a labor report to their field employees, but they're probably doing it on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis after payroll runs. And the information is always lagging that 1 week behind, or they're having to wait for someone to send them the report. When you have a dashboard like this, your field employees can log in whenever they need to and see exactly how they're tracking across different cost codes. So they can see exactly, okay, where am I running over budget? I can see I'm already over budget on my excavation, or how many hours they might have remaining on an activity. So on the PVC liner here, we can see we have 23 hours remaining. So you can kind of start with that very simple, hey, what are my hours to date versus what my budget hours were? But then you can also slice and dice the information in different ways. And this is one of my favorite visuals in the top left here is it's basically plotting out how many labor hours you spent on a project month over month. And then it's basically going to do a regression to basically assign, all right, what does that labor curve look like? And this is a really good indicator of when you might be getting into trouble on a project if your labor starts to stretch out. Most projects, if you look at your labor curve, you see this very smooth bell curve where it goes up and then it comes back down. A good indicator if you might be running into labor overruns on a project is if this labor curve starts to get stretched out. Let's say you go up, you peak, and then rather than coming right back down, it stretches out for months and months and months on end. Those are the type of things you can start to look at just visually to start to understand how are you performing on a project when it comes to your labor. And what's great about this is every contractor is going to have, a slightly different labor curve that looks familiar depending on what type of work they do. And you can start to identify what those trends might be as you look at different projects and what that curve looks like. So this is a great place to start. This is, I think, one of the most powerful dashboards just to get in the hands of your superintendents, your foremen. There's no cost data related to this, so you don't have to worry about exposing payroll data, but it's just a great check to kind of give them, a greater sense of control that they understand what's happening on their projects.